It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Geno Jones Showtime is Friday. TGIF. Thank God it is Friday. I know the calendar, everybody says Friday. I don't give a damn about what everybody else has to say here on the Geno Jones Show. Fridays are called Friday because yay, it's Friday, hence the word Friday. Coming to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast, 1:30 p.m. out in Hawaii. You lucky dog, you lucky dog. Love to be in Maui right about now, but I'm loving being here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro here in the Carolinas. Happy anniversary to the Geno Jones Show. So it's really happy anniversary week and month. 2 years ago this week, the Geno Jones Show made its debut. It's a daily live variety show. Now, if anybody asks you, so what is really the Geno Jones Show? So tell them, just imagine like the Tonight Show with Geno Jones as the host, but if he was alive, his executive producer would be Malcolm X. Bam! You feel that frequency? You got me? You understand the spirit and the vibe and the soul of the show? Yeah, it's like that, because we go hard in the paint. And I got a very special guest. It's special to me and special to my loyal fans. Somebody you haven't seen in a while is back. I hope permanently, but this person, they are really busy. They got a lot on their plate, so I'm just going to save the surprise. I'm just going to bring this person on camera. But right now, let me tell you, 32 days until Election Day, 4.5 weeks from today, week in review. President Biden said he is going to pardon over 6,500 people. Now, these are people who have federal marijuana charges. So over 6,500 people have been pardoned for simple marijuana possession. So, Pee Wee and Peanut and Ray Ray and Lil Man and Dutta Man and Junior, who's in the joint because they had a couple joints on them and the police caught them. Understand, this whole marijuana, this war on drugs, it was created in the late 60s by former president, I am not a crook, Richard Nixon. And listen, they admitted it on tape. Nixon and his administration, it was a way. So there were two groups of Americans that Nixon just couldn't stand. He hated hippies, white hippies, and black folks. So they said, let's criminalize marijuana. Even before that, they had movies like Reefer Madness. So the whole reason they criminalized marijuana, because at the time, they knew that marijuana use was primarily among black folks, because they couldn't afford cocaine until really like the 80s. In the 70s, only like the big stars like Richard Pryor that was smoking his brains out and almost killed himself, set himself on fire. They could afford that because, somebody living in the projects couldn't afford to freebase. They ain't had that kind of money. So the marijuana was cheaper, and Nixon and all these right-wing, now, they are now the MAGA crowd. They weren't called MAGA then. They were just like these racists. Racists. And not all Republicans are racist, but listen, Nixon, he owned it. He didn't like black folks. He used the N-word. He didn't like Jews. He had used anti-Semitic words against Jews. He didn't like hippies. Hell, he didn't really like himself, but that's a whole nother conversation. So this whole war on drugs, criminalizing marijuana, that was a way to lock up millions of young black men so they wouldn't be a threat. You wouldn't have to worry about them opening up business and taking your jobs and becoming successful in the corporate world. And it was a way to feed the prison industrial complex. So you have all this, what they call corporate prisons, where you have corporations who invested in the stock. They invested into the prison industry. So there are corporate-owned prisons all around America. So And there are a lot of small towns where these big prisons, that's like the major employer. So you got folks that sent kids through college and pay for mortgages working in these prisons in these small towns. So it was a way to generate revenue and make people rich and keep, poor and middle class white folks, give them a job and made them see black folks as inferior, like they really needed some help. So that is why marijuana was considered, they called it like a Schedule A. Yes. So in that classification, you had marijuana, heroin, cocaine. Now, look, I don't even get high, but I know you can't compare smoking a joint to heroin and cocaine. Come on. So it's like marijuana is as dangerous as cocaine or heroin. Listen, if you ever hear anybody try to tell you that marijuana is as dangerous as heroin or cocaine, I don't advocate violence, but please slap their ass for me, because I do it. Because that's bullshit. But once again, there was a plan, and they admitted the plan. And when Nixon when his tapes were released, you heard all this. They confessed. We created this war on drugs so we could lock up black folks and white hippies, because we hate both of them. Because, they weren't old white men that had problems, and they didn't have Viagra back in the day. And that's a whole nother thing. Whole nother story. They would just come out up a little short, a little soft and short, but I digress. So, and the funny thing is, when Joe Biden was first a senator, he kind of went along with the war on drugs. So here we are, full circle, some 40 years later, and President Biden has pardoned more than 65,000 people who are in jail for a federal simple marijuana charge. And he's encouraged all these governors to do the same, because the majority of people in jail for marijuana possession are on state charges, not federal charges. So that's a different little twist. But at least so for all you brothers in the barbershop, then I'd heard enough from y'all ass, because you always trying to make an excuse for vote. Some of y'all, been drinking the MAGA Kool-Aid. Well, I voted for Trump because I got a business and he gave me a tax break. When Trump and the MAGA crowd get through with your ass, not only are you not going to have a business, you're going to be the business, because you're going to wind up picking cotton again for free. And they're going to make money off your black. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand what's happening? Taking away your voting rights, your civil rights. So if you don't vote, you don't have to worry about voting ever, because if the MAGA crowd gets their way, your vote won't count anyway. They will take it back. Google the Dred Scott decision. They will take you back to the 1850s and before that, when there was the Dred Scott decision, Supreme Court decision, that said there were no laws that were on the books that a white man had to honor in regards to a black man. So I ain't making that up. Just Google the Dred Scott decision if you don't believe me. So you better understand civil rights, your voting rights, women, ladies. Now, white women, the 53% of white women who voted for Orange Hitler, now you see that these white men and Orange Hitler don't give a shit about you either. Now you know how black women feel, and have felt for 403 years. They've come for you. And let me let you in on a little secret. Hey, white men, those of y'all that ain't billionaires and don't have memberships at Mar-a-Lago, they don't give a damn about your ass either. They really don't like you. They look down at you more than they do a black person, because their attitude, and it's not my opinion, I've had white men, powerful, wealthy white men, actually say this to me after a couple cocktails. Hey, get a couple cocktails, boy, them loose lips really get to going. They look down. That's why they look down on poor working class whites in Appalachia and poor countries, because their attitude is, we know that this system was designed to imprison and deny black people their rights. They didn't bring Africans to America to become billionaires and open businesses. They brought Africans to America to make these old, rich white men richer and generate wealth for them. It's like, hold on, we didn't bring y'all here to open up businesses and own NBA franchises and what the hell is going on and own the Weather Channel. The game got all messed up. So please understand that there are forces in this country that want to take you back. And ladies, just remember, the original Constitution didn't even have the word woman or female in it. You don't believe me? Google the U.S. Constitution, first draft. Just go look up the U.S. Constitution, and I'll give you $100. I'll give you $1,000 for every time you see the word woman in the Constitution. You won't. All men are created equal. Didn't even acknowledge women because these same, also in the Constitution, the only people that could vote were wealthy, male, white landowners. Translation to 2020, wealthy white men, wealthy white Christian men who own businesses and property. Those were the only people that could vote. Those were the only people that counted. They were the only people in the rooms that made those laws. They didn't acknowledge women because they considered women property just like they considered African Americans property. So you can play around if you want to because we're in a situation now. Ladies and fellas, you need to understand this. Right now, today, unfortunately, there are women who are dying because they can't terminate a pregnancy. Literally bleeding out, hemorrhaging. Women that are carrying dead, I'm just going to give it to you straight, dead fetuses. There are women who are carrying some fetuses that don't have a skull. And you're saying, damn, Geno, you're grossing me out. No, I want you to know how serious this is for women. And one day, this woman or women like that could be your daughter, your granddaughter, your niece. Hell, it could be your wife. It might be your little side piece you jump off. Because a lot of all these politicians, this MAGA crowd, Herschel Walker's dumbass and more, these same men who say, oh, no, there should be a federal ban on abortion. Women cannot, nope, don't tolerate no abortion. I don't care if a 10-year-old girl's been raped or a victim of incest. I don't care if the mother's going to die. Sorry, I'm protecting life. Really, really, you're trying to protect whiteness. We had that conversation because whiteness is a made-up construct. A construct is just a theory, in case you want to know what that word means. It's a con game, all right? It's made up. Get a DNA test. $1,000 if it comes back. Say, oh, you're like 85% white. It won't. It won't. Whiteness, blackness. It's a theory. Something that people made up in the late 1600s. Oh, so anyway, I digress. Let me shout out real quick before I bring on my guest. And I got to shout out, we shouted out President Biden. Oh, don't forget President Biden. So young folks and you brothers, because a lot of you brothers have got like federal marijuana charge for possession. You just been pardoned. So you can thank President Biden by making sure you and Pookie and Peanut and Leroy and Junior and Ray make sure they ass go vote too. All right. And, oh, by the way, if you got a student loan, if you got federal student loan debt, $10,000 been canceled. And if you got the student loans with the Pell Grants, like I had, up to $20,000, boom, canceled. You can thank President Biden. And look, I ain't being paid for this. I'm just trying to get you to understand how important you is, because if you all don't vote and this MAGA crowd gets in control, it's a wrap. You can kiss democracy goodbye. It won't matter. It'll be like Putin's Russia, they'll be in power, and you won't have any rights, including you white men. Remember, January 6, 2021, they were chanting what? On the steps of the Capitol when they put this gallows to hang somebody. They said, hang Mike Pence. That's an old white man. So they wanted to hang his ass. So you can imagine what they think about somebody that looks like me. All right, brothers and women of all, to understand, all these hypocritical men that's telling you that you should not be able to have an abortion regardless of how dangerous, and a woman is 14 times more likely to die at childbirth than she is at having an abortion. Not my opinion, it's facts. Do your homework like I did. So childbirth is really one of the most dangerous things a woman can do. And if you don't believe me, ask a woman that's had a baby. But there's medical data behind it. 14 times more likely for a woman to die at childbirth than it is terminating a pregnancy. So women and men, you need to be standing up and make sure that you vote, because all of those rights, the reproductive rights and freedom, but then these same men that are passing those laws are making sure that they side pieces, they jump off, their little mistresses. I'm gonna need you to take care of this, because my wife can't find out that I was trifling and didn't use a condom. Now you pregnant. You can't have no baby. I got a wife. I've got a career. I've got a reputation. So I'm gonna need you to take a vacation, take a trip to Chicago or New York. We're gonna pay. Here's the money, and we're gonna throw in a get well card. Here's a check. We're gonna write a check for you to pay for the abortion and have enough left to go down on North Michigan Avenue and buy you a Birkin bag, or go buy Louis Vuitton and get you some luggage, anything. But I'm gonna need you to take care of that situation, because you can't be having no baby by me. You the side piece. You number 2 or 3 or 4. You ain't gonna mess up my happy home with my wife. Hypocritical ass, really. So now it's being exposed. But I got to shout out rappers Trina and Saucy Santana. Yeah, old school hip hop rapper repping the 305 Miami. My girl Trina, the baddest bitch. I'm not calling her a bitch. She is a self-proclaimed the baddest bitch. That's what she calls herself. And Saucy Santana, I don't know what pronoun Saucy is going by, but Saucy is saucy. And I don't know if Saucy considers Saucy the baddest bitch or not. I'm gonna let you figure it out when you see the video. But they got a video and a song called No Voting, No Fucking with a V. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. And you can imagine what that V really stands for. That V should really be another alphabet, another consonant. No voting, no fucking. You got to see it. Encouraging. So yeah, it's ratchet, it's hood, and it's ghetto. And guess what? Because all my ratchet and hood brothers and sisters, guess what? They vote. They can vote too. And we need all hands on deck. We need everybody, or as Nelly would say, everybody. We can't afford to be snobbish. We need everybody in the fight, because the folks that want to oppress all of us want to oppress all of us. They don't give a damn if you got a $2 million house condo in Hyde Park in Chicago next to Barack or Michelle Obama, or if your ass is living in the projects. They look at all of us the same. So we need all hands on deck. Let me bring on, once register to vote, check your voter registration status, and take a whole bunch, rent a party bus, act like your ass is going to the Essence Festival or to the NBA All-Star game. Just get a gang of y'all, rent a party bus, pop some champagne, play some bid whisk, you have some in the back, maybe have some adult porn movies, whatever y'all do, do you. But we gonna need you to do you in mass and show up and register to vote, or use that party bus. Or churches, put them buses to good use, especially in the neighborhood you live in. Pick up some seniors, elderly people, disabled. Make sure you get them to the poll to vote. I digress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to thank everybody that's watching me right now. This is the 2nd year anniversary of the Geno Jones Show, and it is one of the fastest growing shows on YouTube. And I am so grateful, first of all, to God, and second of all, I'm grateful to each and every one of you, and especially you, for making the Geno Jones Show one of the fastest growing shows. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the people who is so important, there's a word people use, integral. Bottom line is, the sister is one of the main reasons that the Geno Jones Show is at the level it is. Because she came on, she was doing a solid for a brother, and she helped, like, if you got like something in a bottle and the tight is screwed on real tight, and you take that top off and boom, it's like, you shake up some ginger ale or something, and when that top comes off, she unlocked the genius and the greatness, self-proclaimed anyway, of the Geno Jones Show. So I am honored to bring this person back on camera, because this person is, this person's got another life as a professor, and a businesswoman. We've known each other for about 3 decades. She getting old. I ain't getting old. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a surprise. Y'all see it right there. Y'all see it right there. Y'all see it right there. My dog. Look at it. Just the locks has got some new glasses. Got the blazer killing the game. Ladies and gentlemen, cut your mic on. Keela Carson. Let the people hear your voice.
Okay, I was so into you. And then when you said I was old, I was like, oh my God, do I have an attitude?
Listen, come on. Listen. Now, my ass can't talk. Because I had me
I know you older than me.
Shh. We ain't supposed to. Because black don't crack, and your black ain't cracking at all. So, shh.
Hey, amen. But, Geno, something I am happy to say that's getting old is the Geno Jones Show. I'm happy to say that you're getting older. So happy anniversary to you, my man.
Well, thank you. All jokes aside, and I'm serious, guys. When I first started the show, Keela was one of the people that I reached out to, and we hadn't talked to each other in a minute because we both had just been super busy. A lot happened in her life, a lot happened in my life, and we would always kind of touch bases. But when I got the show started, I said, Key, I got this idea, and you were all in. You are a professor, so you're fans like my mother, who's like, where Keela been? Keela is Professor Tyson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
She's
for my students, I am Professor Tyson. They can't call me Keela Carson.
She is teaching them cheering, as they say in the South. They say children. They say cheering. So she's teaching them cheering. But I'm so glad that she took some time to come back. So we're trying to get you. I'm working on something where I can just get you permanently, just for a half hour, just on on Fridays. But
hey, keep working on it. I'll be ready.
So
2 years of practice.
Yes. So listen, we can have some fun with this. I mean, if you want to talk about something that we talked about in the monologue, or whatever it is on your chest that you feel you want to share with the viewers, I'm just gonna give you the mic. But there is one thing I want to get your perspective on, something that's kind of been in the ether, something that's been on the public stage. Somewhat.
Okay.
And I want to get your perspective as a woman, because it just 2 and 2 ain't adding up. 2 and 2 is coming out to 8 or 9, and I'm like, you can't multiply 2 even numbers and get an odd number for an answer. I remember that from 3rd grade. Something ain't adding up, but we'll get to that. But first of all,
glad you remember that. I can't count. That's why I teach communication. Just saying, but go on.
She's like, Geno, now when you multiply 2 even numbers, you can never get an odd number for an answer. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Sound good to me. But what's the other question?
So what's on your mind these days? Is anything that you want to?
Well, you were talking about something's not adding up. Do you want me to answer that now, or
okay, let's do that now, because I didn't talk about it in my monologue. But I do, because really it's so weird. I talked to another friend of mine who's one of my sources, because I got sources around and in the NBA. So this whole story about the head coach for the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka. Now,
Nia's fiance-ish.
Right. So for us, in the culture, so his wife is Nia Long, and we all love Nia Long. And actually, Nia Long has her sister, half sister. I don't know, maybe.
Well, they're half sisters. You know about the comedian Samore?
Yeah, Samore. They're sisters. We know for a fact that half don't matter. They're sisters.
Right, but they don't have a relationship, really.
Right. Samore is going to be coming to town in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But anyway, everybody, and then on top of it, I think we all, even though Nia Long's been in a lot of movies, some TV shows, but we all love Nia's role in Love Jones. As a matter of fact,
I'm the funk in your left, trying to be funk, or some in your right. What did Trey say?
Wait.
He just started following me yesterday.
Did you watch it yesterday?
Lorenz started following me on Twitter.
Who did?
Lorenz.
Did he?
Yes.
Well, he's from Chicago originally,
Yes.
but let me tell you this story real quick, Key.
Okay.
So last weekend, me and Damaris, because we hadn't seen it in like a long time.
Right.
Because for a while it's a cult movie, so after you watch it about 1,000 times, you got to just take a break.
And you rest.
Right.
And then go back.
But we went back and watched it, and the movie is so good. And the funny thing is, so the movie was shot in Chicago. And it was shot in Chicago right around when I left Chicago and came to Detroit when you and I met. And so they were at a big Steppers party. And shout out to Herb Kent, rest in peace, power in paradise. He's one of the main reasons why I got in radio initially, because I wanted to be like him. He was just like one of the greatest on radio. But it was just, I realized like I could appreciate this movie even more now than I could then, and I see why it's such a cult. It was well done. It's such a cult following. But so anyway, so Nia Long, married to this guy Ime Udoka, the head coach of the Boston Celtics. So he got suspended for a year. Everybody heard the story. So he was having an affair with a woman who, now this is what the team told everybody, Keith. A consensual relationship with an employee that works for the Boston Celtics. So let me just
a scheduler or something, was she?
So let me unpack a few things, because initially there was a lot of women that would say, well, there's a power dynamic because he.
Well, that's why we have Me Too. Yeah.
But now here, let me unpack this. So first of all, even though he's the head coach, he was not. Even before he got in trouble, he wasn't the face of the franchise. Jason Tatum, their best player, was. Because last year, he was a rookie coach. And in his first year, he got the team to the NBA Finals. But here's what's important, Keith. When people talk about this power dynamic, she did not work on the...
For him. Yeah.
Yes, she didn't work on the basketball side of the organization. She worked on the business side of the organization. And she wasn't like a young intern. She is, let me just get that off the screen. She is a mother, a Mormon mother of 3 children. And here's the twist.
Mormon?
Yes.
Okay.
They are Mormons. She and her husband, who works for the Boston Celtics, who is an executive on the business side.
Yeah, okay, well, now,
hold on, wait. So you probably heard how he found out, because they got this Ring doorbell, so y'all need to be careful. Y'all cheating, y'all know all these Alexa, and they can record anything that you say, unless you got them unplugged, they recording what you're saying. So anyway, her husband overheard, I guess, this conversation that, the woman, because now their names are in the the Kathleen and Patrick Lynch's. So Patrick overheard his wife talking to Ime. He hired a private investigator. So the private investigator, they went and pulled the tapes, Key. Now, a lot of folks haven't heard this, but I have very reliable sources, and according to the very reliable sources, it wasn't just the Ring camera doorbell conversations. They went and pulled surveillance tape and saw that they were going into each other's hotel rooms when the team was traveling. So this is the part that threw me, though, Keith. So help me. Because, yes, rightfully so. It's like, dude, you're not married, but y'all been together and you were engaged. But what got me was that people were ignoring this woman and saying that she was a victim. And I was just struggling with that, Key, because I'm like, first of all, this power dynamic didn't exist because she didn't work on the basketball side. He couldn't fire her if he wanted to. Second of all, it was consensual. And for all these, moral police officers, the moral police, hold on. She was as culpable as she was married. And we find out with 3 kids and a holier than thou Mormon.
Well, okay, so
help me out with, it's like because I don't getting the pass. I'm like, hold on. They both were in doing the dirt together. So help me out.
So because I know we don't have a whole lot of time here. So let me just quickly say that as far as the consensual part, you're right. If no one is forcing you to have this relationship, you can't then cry, you know, that, oh my goodness, me too. You can't do that. Me too what? Me too screwing around? Okay. But not, so that's off the books. However, where you may have some pushback is on the power dynamic. Although he was not directly a supervisor of her or could affect her job in any way, let's just say it wasn't consensual. If someone perceives that you could have some impact on their life
Yeah.
or livelihood,
Right.
then psychologically, if you believe that, then it is so. So you have to be careful. Let's not confuse consent, because that takes her off the books. You consented, you're done. But the power dynamic could still be on the table if consent was not there, because he could talk to a manager or whatever, because he's the head coach of one of the teams that are in the NBA finals, and on and on and on. So you could argue that.
But can you argue that if the only time it came to anybody's attention is when the husband, who is an executive on the business side, got wind of this and hired a private investigator?
Well, I mean, what's your point there, Geno?
That the only reason, to my knowledge, this relationship was going on until the husband got wind of it, hired a private investigator, and then all of a sudden they got wind of that. Then the relationship apparently stopped.
Well, that's when it usually stops, when you get caught.
So this whole thing, that's what I'm saying, the whole pushback on the power dynamic. The power dynamic on its face, from what we know, it doesn't seem to played a part in it, because they was going in and out of each other's hotel rooms until the husband, who had a different power dynamic, who worked for the same team, who was an executive on the business side, kind of got wind of it and hired somebody to dig up some more dirt and get these surveillance tapes, allegedly, according to my sources, where they was going in and out of each other's hotel rooms.
But again, Geno, you kind of have to just give that up, because if power dynamic, meaning Me Too, were the only thing on the table, then there is still an argument whether the husband spied on her, found out, fired, or suspended, whatever this is being called. You could still argue, ooh, thank you, God, husband, for coming to rescue me, because I didn't know what I was going to do with that old black man, coming round swinging that thing like they do.
Right. Right.
And I don't know how.
Walking around like the elephant man with a yardstick. I hadn't heard all of that, but
okay, so I'm just saying that there could still be an argument, but I don't think this is going to end up in that pool, so we can just kibosh that. And before we go, I want to say that I am so happy that I'm going to forever remember your anniversary, because it will be the day that weed was freed, or people who got charged for it federally were freed. So I'll always know, oh, it's Geno's anniversary.
You'll be able to associate. Okay, you know what?
That's right.
So for all those 420ers,
right.
For those who don't know, April 20th is when a lot of states legalize recreational use of marijuana, which is legalized in 19 states and 37 states total. They have legalized or allowed medicinal use.
Medicinal. Yes, medicinal marijuana.
If you got glaucoma or pain,
right.
You can say, look, I got a prescription from my doctor because I really can't see that well, so please don't take my
like me. But no, I don't smoke weed. I was just happy today, just in case I did. But Geno, I know you got to go, but I want to say, so that you can close up, that I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you know, as long as there is breath in my lungs, I will be here for you. And happy anniversary. I love you.
Well, I love you. I love you more. Thank you, Key. So, and since you love me so much, we'll talk off camera because I got to come up with some kind of schedule. I know you're teaching them children, but you know, even if you're just once or twice a month, we want to see your beautiful face here on the Geno Just Friday because Fridays have never been the same without you
Aw.
on the show.
Aw.
It's just that chemistry. We just right. We should take this show on the road because the kings and queens of comedy ain't got ish on us because we don't even have to write the jokes. It's spontaneous. They just the chemistry is right there. So
And I mean, look how far you've come, and we've come. I mean, we were dealing with the insurrection when you and I,
yes,
and now we're at the midterm.
yeah, and we still dealing with the insurrection.
that part. But at least the weed is free.
Yes.
Free.
Yes, yes.
Free
So
with the
y'all had them write them possession charges. If they were federal charges, use free.
Use free.
Now,
Okay, Gino, you got to get free now. You got to go.
Right. So you've been pardoned. Thank President Biden. But now you got to get the record expunged. So that means you're going to have to hire a lawyer. So,
Yeah.
But hey.
Technicalities.
Right. Yeah. But just because that's the next thing. Well, President Biden said I was free. Well, you ain't free, but you get that. You got to have that. Get that paper on that because you know how these folks are. And not only am I free, exonerated. Now leave my ass alone and hit this joint. Stop tripping.
Yep.
I love you, Keith. Thank you.
You too.
All right. So we'll hope to see you soon. One
You
Friday
will.
soon. Okay.
You will.
Thank you. All right. That's my people. Let me just go ahead and let me come back on camera. She's the best. See, anybody that's watched the show from the beginning, we just have me and Key but we've known each other. Full disclosure, her and I worked together. I was doing a morning show in Detroit, and she was part of my morning show. It really was just me and Key. And it was really me, Key, and Kathy, a woman named Kathy Welch, who did my news, and the three of us. And it was great. And facts, not fiction. You can do the homework, look up the data. We was kicking Tom Joyner's ass, and then Tom Joyner's show, they wound up putting on my show, and that's a whole different political conversation. But we was kicking his arse and anybody else arse in the morning. We was doing the damn thing, and really would have been doing it, but you know, sometimes people kind of, you ever been on a job? We got people that think they know more than you, and they kind of micromanage, get in the way of you and your team. Shout out to Skip Diller, because that wasn't his case, because he hired us. He's in New York doing his thing. Brilliant brother. Skip put together a hell of a team, and we were kicking arse. I digress. All right, listen, let me get out of here. Happy birthday, Tony Braxton. My Libras out there, happy birthday, Tony Braxton. Today, she turned double nickel, 55. And anybody else celebrating a birthday today or this weekend, happy birthday to you, Libras. Go, Tony. It's your birthday. Go, Tony. It's your birthday. Tony Braxton, it's your birthday. And you 55 today, girl. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Shout out to my man Groove Master Dre. I see you. I appreciate your support always being there. And everybody else that's watching the Geno Jones Show, I can't thank you enough. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. And God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live and in living color. 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles, and 1:30 p.m. out on the islands of Hawaii, out there in Maui. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show. Subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch every episode. Share every episode, screen grab 60 seconds of it, and put it on your stories on Instagram and TikTok, and put it on Twitter, and put it in your stories, put it in your reels on Instagram and TikTok. You have my permission, you have my blessing to take some of the highlights of the show, the parts, the funniest parts for you, the parts that just really kind of hit you right there. It's like, yeah, Geno, I'm feeling you. Grab that and put it up on TikTok in your reels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, put it up on Twitter. You got my permission. You got my permission to make it do what it do, make it go viral like you have in the past. I love each and every one of y'all so much. Shout out to the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show for the last 2 years, Markel Bailey, the CEO and the owner of called Designer Cuts in Goose Creek, South Carolina. It's part of the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. You can check Markel Bailey out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up. KELBECUTTINUP, because Kel be cutting his ass up. The official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Allie Jones, fashion designer, fashion design major at my alma mater, Columbia College, Chicago. Shout out to Columbia College, Chicago, the Cougars. And she's a supermodel. You can check out Lexi, or really Alexandria, aka Allie Jones, on Instagram. It's LX.NCL underscores that little dash. So L like Lexi, X like extra, dot, N like Nanette, C like Charlie Wilson, L like Lexi underscore. And we shout out also Bruce Gage, one of the wardrobe consultants and stylists for the Geno Jones Show. He is the owner, CEO of Mario Uomo in Chicago. If you want to be 2 years ahead of the fashion trends that you're going to see, check out Mario Uomo. He is on Instagram, Miglio Di Mario Uomo. That's MIGILIODIMARIOUOMO. MIGILIODIMARIOUOMO. Miglio Di Mario Uomo. It's Italian. All right. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be next Monday, 6:30 p.m. Shout out to Larry D. He calls me nephew. I call him Unc. Former lead singer for the Barcades. Larry Dotson was going to be my guest, but he forgot he had a prior engagement. He had a movie premiere to be at, and he called me, and I called him and said, he said, nephew, please forgive me. I forgot I had a movie premiere to be at. I'm here right now. Can we run it back next week? I said, yes, we are celebrating the 2nd year anniversary of the Geno Jones Show for the entire month. So we're going to run it back with him next week. Like I said, man, I love each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. Monday, brand new day, brand new week, brand new edition, live edition of the Geno Jones Show. Binge watch all my back episodes. Hell, the hell with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime when you can binge watch all the episodes for 2 years. It got some great guests, man, some fire monologues of the Geno Jones Show. So pop some popcorn and call over some friends. Go or pop open a bottle of your favorite beverage, whatever it is, and binge watch. Put on your little comfy little nighties or your little sleepwear, your comfort wear with the feet in them. Kick back and enjoy and binge watch all my back episodes. Until Monday, 6:30 p.m. live. Enjoy all my back episodes. For the last 2 years, you made it happen. You've made the Geno Jones Show one of the fastest growing shows on YouTube. Mwah! I love all y'all for that. Until Monday, 6:30 p.m. As always, be blessed. Pray for peace. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.